Parshat Tsav is a continuation of Sefer Vayikra, about the different karbonis. As we know, there's two different categories of karbonis, koche kochim and koche kalim. Koche kochim is a higher level of kochim. Koche kalim, the translation of the word kal is lighter. It's a lighter type of. You can eat the koche kochim only in the Beis Hamikdash. Koche kalim you can eat in Yerushalayim. There's different differences. There's several differences between koche kochim and koche kalim. What goes into the category of koche kochim? Of course, an oila, but also a chatas and an ashram. Chatas and ashram. A person does an avera b'shoigeg. He makes a mistake. He has to bring a chatas and ashram. This is called a kodesh kochim. It turns out, Kliyaka points out, that a tzaddik gomer who never ever did an avera, not even b'shoigeg, he can never bring a chatas, he can never bring an asham. So he almost never brings these karbanis which are koche kochim. He can bring a shlomim, he can bring an oila, but an oila also, Chazal tell us, also is a kapara on certain type of averas. It's not just a regular shlomim he can bring, but shlomim is koche kalim. So the Baal Tshuva, the person who did an avera and he does tshuva, he brings a carbon which is on a higher level than a tzaddik gomer. This, of course, fits in very well with the well-known Gemara, the Gemara in Berachos Daf Lamed Daled, which teaches us that b'makom shebali tshuva oimdim ein tzaddik gomer yochel lamed. A Baal Tshuva can reach higher levels than even a tzaddik gomer. This we see also from these rules of the koche kochim and the chatas and the yosham. Furthermore, says the Kliyaka, if you look at the carbon mincha comes from flour, and the flour is not allowed to be made into chametz. And the pasuk says, "Lo yiseyafe chametz chalkem nosate esami yishay." It's pasuk perek vav pasuk yud, and then the Torah says, "Kodesh kochim mincha chatas choshim." First of all, it can never be chametz. A mincha can never be chametz. The exceptions, the shtei alechem on Shavuos, the carbon toida has the 10 chalos of chametz. But in general, a regular carbon mincha cannot be chametz. And it's called the kodesh kochim, like the chatas and the ashram. As we know, says the Kliyakar, Rabbi Alexandri says also in Mesachas Brachas, Daf Yud Zayin, Ritzayneinu lasis ritzaynecha. We really want to do your will. Our will is to do your will. But what is preventing us from doing that? The sa'ar should be isa, the sourdough and the dough, which makes the dough chametz. The chametz is like the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara prevents us from doing the mitzvahs, and then the chametz prevents the matzah to remain the pure matzah and become chametz like the averes. So it's very, 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 very beautifully connected, says the Kliyaka, why the mincha is called, you're not allowed to have chametz, and it's called kodesh kochim, like what? Like the chatas and like the asham. Just like the Baal Tshuva who brings the chatas and brings the asham. So a person who brings the carbon mincha and he's thinking about fighting with the Yetzer Hara, he has a struggle with the Yetzer Hara, and he brings the mincha and he's constantly worried about the mincha should not become chametz, that the Yetzer Hara should not enter into him. He also reaches the level of the kodesh, of the koche kochim. Famous Bala Sulam, the author of the Sulam on the Zohar, Yehuda Ashlag, says a very beautiful mashal. Says there was once a king who wanted to reward a person who did for him a very, very, very special favor. So he told him the following reward: a certain specific date and a certain specific time, he's going to get the key to the royal treasury chambers where all the royal treasures and the royal jewels are kept, and he has 2 hours to gather whatever he can from that room. And the man shows up at the appointed day, the appointed time. He's presented the key. He opens the door. All the guards are standing around, and he's able to go in with his big sack, his big bag that he brought to gather the jewels. He goes from one place to another, dazzled by all the brilliance. He gathers whatever he can, 15, 20, how much time does it take to fill up the bag? Finishes filling up the bag, and he leaves. The guards follow him right away. They say, "What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? You're taking jewels from the royal chambers." They take the bag, they empty out the whole bag, and they give him back the empty bag. So I don't understand. The king promised, "We don't know. You're not allowed to take jewels from the thing. Here's your bag." He says, "But I have the royal key." "Oh, you have the royal key? Go ahead, go inside." So what about, no, you can't take those jewels. Doesn't understand what happened, but okay. If he has the bag, he has the key. He goes in again, tries again. He goes in again, 15, 20 minutes, he gathers whatever he can, he comes out, the same story repeats itself. They follow him, they take the bag, they empty the bag, they give him back the empty sack, and they said, "Go ahead, you want to go back in, you can go back in, you have the key." He doesn't understand what's going on, but he says, as long as I have time, as long as I have the key, I'm going to try again. And he tries again, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, and of course each time they confiscate whatever he took, and they give him back the empty bag. Finally, after the 6th time, it's already, his time is up, they confiscate all the jewels, they take back the key, they say, "Sir, your time is over, we're sorry, you can't go back in." He's very distraught and very dejected, he doesn't understand why this happened to him. He starts leaving, and the chief guard approaches him and says, "The king is waiting for you, he wants to speak to you." Goes up to the king's room, the king is smiling. All the jewels that he collected through the 6 times were waiting, neatly piled up in the king's chambers. And he said, listen, my friend, I really wanted to give you the maximum reward. I knew that if you took a bag and you went in, you would be limited in how much you could take. You would take one bag home, and that's it. And that's why I did this. I kept taking it away, and I kept giving you the impulse and the will to keep going back and keep going back. And now you can take all the jewels that you collected through all the 6 times that you were here. Says the Baal HaSulam, this is also our lives. We gain certain levels of ruchnias. We do mitzvahs, we do Torah, and then we fall. We're humans. Humans fall and they fail. And we think, what should we do now? We failed, we lost everything. But no, says the Kodesh Baruch Hu, come bring a chattas, bring a Hashem. It's Kodesh Kadoshim, it's beautiful, it's so precious to me. Bring the chattas, bring the mincha, fight with the Yetzer Hara, try again. And each time we try, and then we lose, and then we fall, and we try again, we raise again, and then we fall again. And each time the Kodesh Baruch Hu says, don't worry, when you finish this struggle with the Yetzer Hara, with the chattas, with the Hashem, it's Kodesh Kadoshim, everything that you gained throughout your whole life is waiting for you in Olam Haba. Good Shabbos.